All right. So sorry, I should have started recording earlier. I just remembered I didn't start recording. All right, so thank you so much, Brian, and we are hoping to learn from you in this session. Also, I have an amazing brother as well from Uganda. He has been my amazing friend for the past few years now, and his name is Crispus. He's also a Mastercard scholar at UBC. Crispus, over to you. I think you are the best to describe yourself here. Over to you, Crispus.
Um, Good morning from Vancouver. My name is Chris Pasongom, and I'm from Uganda, currently studying at the University of British Columbia at the forestry faculty. It's great seeing all of you here and great seeing you show interest in this application. And here to share my experience of what I went through last year in the process, and hopefully can help you also really submit outstanding applications. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Crispus. And lastly, we have an amazing scholar as well. I don't know if Crispus, is she on the call already?
Yeah, I
Yasmin.
am on the call.
Oh,
Yes.
Yasmin, thank you for joining. How are you doing, Yasmin? Thank you for joining.
I am
So,
fine, thank you. Let me just
all right,
turn
so do you want to walk us through your introduction, please?
Yeah. So, hi everyone. How are you people? I am currently talking from Vancouver, British Columbia, at University of British Columbia. I'm Yasmin Hassan from Uganda. I did my bachelor's in software engineering for 4 years, and I graduated this year. Uh, After now undergrad, I am now going to pursue my master's right away without any fieldwork, which is why I'm here to share my experience and everything you need to know about this application process till you get yourself the scholarship. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Yasmin. I'm so happy to meet you, and we are looking forward to learn from you. All right, so quick one. Before we go into the questions I have written down for you guys, and also I know the audience also have personal questions. So once we are able to deal with the questions I have, it's more like a chatty conversation. All right, so it's flexible as much as you want. Also, the audience will have the opportunity towards the end to ask their questions directly either through the chat box or directly from the mic. So quickly, we just want to have a short icebreaker, which I think I would engage the speakers as well. So the icebreaker we are doing this morning is to tell me one unique thing about you. What's that one unique about you? I will start with Yazzie. All right, Yasmin, do you want to tell us something unique about you that people don't know?
That people don't know about. Pardon me.
Yeah.
Question. Icebreaker. Wait.
Yeah. Yes.
Uh, okay, this is crazy, but I think I love laughing a lot. So I
Ah,
laugh at literally anything. And then, yeah, I'm a friendly person. So probably that's what I'm good at.
okay. What about you, Favor?
Okay, I think one thing about me is I don't joke with my sleep. Even if I have exams and I feel dizzy, oh man, I'll sleep, please. I don't joke with it because I think it just refreshes me.
Okay, Brian, do you want to share something unique about you?
Um, yeah, I think one unique thing I would say is I've lived in 4 continents.
Wow.
So yeah, I've lived and worked in 4 continents. I've lived in Asia, I've lived and worked in Europe, Africa, and now North America.
Oh, that's beautiful to know.
Yeah.
Then Christmas.
I really have many unique things, but I think one of these will outstand is that I am always too observant about every situation, about every person. So this makes me to understand who you are in the shortest time of me talking to you.
Okay,
Interesting.
so I think I will throw it to maybe three of the audiences. I'll pick randomly. Cedric, you want to tell us something unique about you that people don't know? Cedric, are you there? Okay, so Ishak, do you want to tell us something unique about you that people don't know?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, like I'm a very resilient person.
Okay, that's beautiful to know. Oluwatosin Lobaraji, do you want to tell us something unique about you that people don't know? Oluwatosin Loba, are you there? Okay, Guguletus Sihomo, sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name well. Do you want to tell us something about you that people don't know? Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Hi, what's the Oh, yeah. I don't know. I love animals.
Okay,
I'm
that's
a big lover of animals.
all right. Thank you so much for sharing. So right now we'll be going into some of the questions I've written for our speakers. And please be flexible as much as you want it, the conversation. So first thing first, I think this question will be for Brian. Do you mind sharing or walking us through your Mastercard application process briefly? How was the experience for you?
Okay, thank you, Samuel. The Mastercard Foundation Scholarship application process is a long process to begin with. And it's a process that calls for a lot of patience, a lot of reflection, and you're just walking people through your story. When I was doing the application for this process, I reflected so much on my childhood growing up in Kenya, in a community that was marginalized and less privileged and things like that. So from the time when the call for application came in, it was a moment of reflection for me. So what I would tell anybody who is applying for this scholarship is you need to be very patient, and you need to start collecting the documents in advance, because anytime you there's a deadline, you need to have the documentation that is required. Otherwise, you would end up missing on the whole process. So ideally, I started my application in November last year, and I believe the deadline for application was on the 1st of December. For this year, the applications opened on 30th of August and they closed on 30th of October, I believe so. So from the time when you apply to the time when you get shortlisted, it was about a period of 1 month. By December, I was shortlisted. And yeah, I was shortlisted in December. And now I needed to make an application to my school to secure admission into the course. And the good thing about it is that you don't have to worry about the admission fees, because the Mastercard Foundation, once you've been shortlisted, they are kind enough to give you some sort of a fee waiver or a code that you're going to use to waive the application fee. So essentially, I would say they are paying for you when you are seeking admission into your school. So when I reflect on my application, one thing I would say is you need to make sure that you meet the eligibility criteria, both for the scholarship and for the scholarship and also for your school. Now, one unique thing about me when I was applying for the Mastercard Foundation is I don't have a background or an academic background in environment or forestry. And I kind of second-guessed myself. I felt probably I was not the right person for that scholarship because my training is in supply chain and procurement and supply chain, that is. So moving from procurement and supply chain into forestry and environment kind of seemed like there's a disconnect right there. But then I have been working in environment and sustainability. So it depends on how you are able to connect your work experience to the course that you are going to study. You must find a way of connecting the two. So I would tell anybody who does not have a background in certain courses, you might feel probably, I don't have a background in forestry. Why would I apply for a forestry course? If your work experience that has been reflected in your volunteer activities, in probably your professional life, you worked as a forester or you worked as an environment professional, you should link that to find a way of linking that to ensure that you convince the admissions panel that, fine, this is not my background, but because of my work experience, this is what I've been doing, and this is the gap that exists. For me, that's why you wanted to probably pursue that master's degree. Yep. So I would tell anybody who is applying for a course, look at the skills that you are going to gain from that course. It doesn't necessarily have to be that your background is directly linked to the course that you're going to study. And then gather your documents, have your documents in good time, because Mastercard Foundation, they work with very strict deadlines. So if you miss the deadline, you don't have the documents, probably you're going to miss out on that opportunity, which is a lifetime opportunity that you don't want to miss. Make sure you are also having good relationship with your professors or with your professional colleagues, because they will need 2 or 3 references. Somebody who can talk about how you are best suited to get this scholarship or to be admitted into your choice of your program of choice. So I reflect back and I would say Mastercard Foundation also brought out something unique about me, which is my ability to maintain good relationships, work relationships, and academic relationships, because I didn't have a difficult time finding professors or professional colleagues who wrote reference letters for me. So you need to start working early, work in advance, get to talk to your professors and professional colleagues. Let them know that you're applying for the Mastercard Foundation, and at some point, should you proceed past certain stages, you will be requesting for reference letters. And I think even before you submit your application, you need to submit 2 reference letters. So you need to talk to them and request for those reference letters in advance. And you can actually use those reference letters to secure admission into your course of choice. So precisely that's what I would say. And perhaps maybe if someone has a question, then I would be much willing to answer.
All right. Thank you so much, Brian. That was so detailed. I hope everyone is taking down some notes, because I personally am still keeping notes. I believe some of these things would be helpful for friends and families who I might need to speak with. So guys, in case you have questions, please, we have a session for Q&A after this particular session. You can note down your questions, and once the opportunity is open, we'll let you know. All right, so Yasmil, I think I have a question for you. I know for the 3 other speakers, their background or their program is environmental sustainability or forestry, but you have a unique program which is on, I think, software or computer science related. So do you mind also sharing your own application process, and also you mentioned you graduated recently. So how did you navigate? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. So how did you navigate the application process as a recent graduate?
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. So my application process, it was really a long one. That's one thing you should know, guys. It's very long and you need to give it time. If you don't give it time, you're not going to get something good out of it. So Brian has taken you through the deadlines, the application uh, process. So I'll just give a hint on some of the things that I think you guys should do really very well. First, I would like to say do not procrastinate. Do not, like I repeat, do not. If I were I was there, I think I would be telling myself that because I kept procrastinating all the time. I'll write the essay tomorrow. I'll write the essay tomorrow. So what I should tell you guys, start. If you don't start, you can't do anything. So you need to start now and write the essays. Take your time on the essays. Like draft them nicely because they really matter a lot. Write your experiences, what you have done. For example, if you're applying for the data science like me, make sure you read. Actually, one thing you should do, if you're reading through the requirements for the Mastercard scholarship, please go and read the requirements of the program you also want to apply for. Read through it very carefully and make sure you meet all the requirements. Do not only look at the Mastercard requirements, look at the program's requirements as well. Because if you don't get admission, I don't think you'll be able also to get a scholarship. I don't know if you get me. So read through the programs, think, because they also have essays you need to write a bit. Then also you need to try and compare the courses you did back in your undergrad and the courses they offered. They want you to try and compare them. So they will give you sections where you write them. Yeah, so you need to be very mindful about that because you need to get admission so that you can be able to qualify for the program. Then also, I think you should use ChatGPT because I used it. So I would advise you to start drafting it first. Draft your essay clearly, and then use ChatGPT later because I used it. So use ChatGPT, but wisely. Don't just copy paste. No, because they're going to get you for plagiarism. Yeah, some people in my team like Favor, I think she didn't use ChatGPT, so she doesn't recommend it. But me personally, I used it and I got it. So I think you should use ChatGPT, but have a flow of how your essay should look first before. Then get ChatGPT to paraphrase it for you. So after paraphrasing it for you, you have to use Quillboot. I don't know if someone has heard about Quillboot. Use Quillboot to try and paraphrase it in a human way. I don't know if you get me. Then after, okay, this is a process I use. So I don't know what people use, but that's what I use. So after you copy it from Quillboot and you use an AI detector tool. So personally, you have to also invest. Invest so that you get something. So I paid for Quillboot. I don't know how many dollars with it. I paid for Quillboot. I also paid for the AI detector for about a month because I wrote my essay for about 3 weeks and some days. So I took my time on my essays. I applied like a day before the deadline. So I had a lot of time, but I kept reviewing my essay, editing it all the time. Then you should give people to read your essays. Send to as many people as you want. Send it. You can send it to me. You can connect with previous Mastercard scholars on LinkedIn because that helped me a lot. I looked through LinkedIn who got the Mastercard scholarship. Then I send them a request. If they accept, I go to their inbox and create a very nice introduction so that someone is willing to reply to you. You don't just go there, hey, I saw you got us, like you introduce yourself nicely, then ask for help so that someone is able to help you. You can also state something that shows you're really passionate about this, you really want this. You show that zeal to someone so that they're able to help you. And then what else? Yeah, your grades are important, but not so much. Not so much. So make sure your application package is really nice. very nice. Like, make sure your essay is on point, and do not lie. People, please do not lie. Do not lie. Like, do not fake anything. Be real. Be true. Be you. Try to look for things you've done in your school, even if you've not done a lot. Like, I'm here, I'm an example. I just graduated. I didn't actually use my full results. I used my transcript, which did not have my full results, but I was still able to get. So just talk about you, talk about what you've done at school, however small it is, talk about it, build on it, and make that. Me, I'll still tell you, people work on your essays nicely because they count a lot. That's how they'll get to know who you are and if you're really a capable person for this scholarship. I don't know if I missed anything. Yeah, I think that's what I have for the software background. This course is it's really intense, and yes, we are feeling it right now. So you have to come prepared for it in case you get. And then I wish you guys the best, the best, the best. Make sure you read the requirements. Please read the requirements. If you don't qualify, do not apply, because you'll just be wasting time. There are so many people who apply. So make sure you apply to something that you qualify for. Thank you.
Thank you, Yasmin. One thing I would say, you know, when a tech lady speaks, you would know. I think Yasmin is an advocate for ChatGPT, and personally, I don't like ChatGPT also, but I think I'm hoping to learn how to use it. Thank you so much, Yasmin. I'm really excited for your story. I think my next question will be for Favor. Favor, you graduated from Agricultural Resource and Communication, if I'm right. Oh, please, you can go ahead and unmute.
Yeah, agricultural extension and communication.
Oh, yeah. So, so how did you navigate your application for a program in land and water? You know, that deals with, you know, generally people would say someone who studied forestry, also, you know, an environmental, like deep environmental course, maybe soil science, would qualify more for such programs. So how did you navigate your application? Do you mind sharing?
Okay, basically, land and water is something that we can't do without. We are living on land and we utilize water. Also, in agricultural extension, I think it is that human aspect field of agriculture that deals directly with the farmers. So basically, how I related my interest and my aspiration was that as an agricultural extension agent, you deal directly with the farmer. The farmer uses land to cultivate crops, right? The farmer uses water to irrigate crops. And also there's something we call groundwater. So basically, I just knew that climate change was one major thing that affected farmers and food security generally. And so I related my interest in the sense that I needed to be able to know the challenges that farmers face in as regards their land utilization and water maximization, so that I can provide tangible solutions through professional communication. So that was how I navigated into the land and water systems line. And also I was like engaged in volunteering activities as regards environmental conservation. And that was Plugging Nigeria FUTA chapter. So they have their chapters in so many institutions. I was in FUTA chapter and I was engaged in like waste recycling and the likes. So basically, I just wanted to target the problem. I realized that there was a problem in the agricultural system, which was climate change mitigation and adaptation strategies, the adoption per se, not like the impact itself, but the adoption of these strategies. And I realized that there was a need for a solution. So how can you provide a solution if the people that are actually involved in these things do not properly understand what these what processes these things go through. So how can they also understand if you don't properly communicate it to them? So I wanted to have a very subject matter specialist ideology. So that was why I did land and water systems. Thank you.
Oh, that's so amazing to know. Thank you so much, Favor. It's amazes me when I heard about your story and also Brian's story and how he was able to navigate the application process for an entire program that does not connect directly to his educational background. And I believe several people would learn from that today. I think I have a question for Crispus. Crispus is my amazing friend, and I know some of your story. So, Crispus, my question is, what would you say is more important in the application process? Do you think CGPA plays a more important role, or experience plays a more important role? I know you graduated with a first class degree from Makereke University in Uganda, and you also have loads of experience when it comes to environmental sustainability and forestry field. So what do you think about that? Crispus,
all right.
okay.
Yeah, thank you so much, Samuel and other speakers. You have really brought forward amazing things. And before I answer the questions, let me first add on what Yasmin said. Using ChatGPT is okay. Using AI is okay, but the issue is just know how to use the AI. Just learn how to use AI well. The thing is, craft your story well before you go to ChatGPT. Don't go there empty-handed because they'll catch you, and know how to use good prompts to get good results. Otherwise, it's okay to use it because we all ain't good writers, and this thing has come to help us be good writers. So in this era, just know you have no excuse to be a poor writer when you have all the resources. So in case you don't trust your writing ability, please, this can aid you. But first have your story somewhere, which is original. Now to answer my question, one, is CGPA necessary? Yes, I know I finished with a first class degree, 4.7 out of 5, but I would like to say that CGPA is not a big deal when you're applying for this scholarship, because the requirement is you have to have, of course, a bachelor's degree. So meaning they didn't say you have to have a first class or second upper. Like there is no a limit put on the grades you should have. So that makes it really open. So CGPA is not really a big deal when you're applying for this scholarship. And even I always say this, if CGPA was a big deal, they would not ask you to write your essays and your stories. They would just be like, hey, applicants, submit your grade points and the shortlist. But since you are given a chance to craft your own story, this is a chance to also show your potential. Show your potential in writing, because even these scholarships aim to support, individuals who are from, can I say, disadvantaged kind of background and all that stuff. So maybe something could have made you not to focus well in your studies and made you to have a low CGPA. So a chance for you to explain all this there. So if you're having your CGPA, so long as you have passed and you have your degree, you have your transcript, or you will have it for those ones who are still waiting for their transcripts, please just rock the application. Then another thing is about the experience. Now this works in two ways. Like of course, Brian, for example, Brian, my colleague, my classmate, did not have a background in environmental kind of things. I mean, background as in his undergrad degree. But as you could see, Brian had a very big wealth of experience when coming to working in environment. So when you don't have maybe like a background in what you're applying for, as in a bachelor's background, in that case, having experience would also build your application. Because I know maybe Brian linked so well his experience with the course he's applying for. So it's really good to have experience. But if you are straight from bachelor's like me and Yasmin, it should be okay. Just know how to write your story well. There's one thing which I want to really focus on: self-belief. Trust me, once you go and check the requirements and you do qualify, you do have an equal chance to get the scholarship, just like anyone, anywhere. So don't be, can I say, intimidated. Just know you are the best and you can get this scholarship. Always have the self-belief that even if there are, there are like 1,000 applications and they want one, that one can be you, irrespective of what, so long as you meet the scholarship requirement. Then one thing which really outstood for me in my process of the application was that I don't rush with the application. I take my time. I know you're all busy. Some are still finishing their university. Some are still working, and it's hard to get a very big time to sit down and draft very comprehensive essays and write your story so well. I mean, if you can be able to write one question per day, give it your time, write your story so well, reread it, and it's not like you have to go and answer everything in one day. There's a reason why they open this scholarship for 2 months, because they know that it takes time to write a good story. So I would say, don't panic. You have the time you need. Take your time, draft your essays well, give it to your colleagues to review. Give it to your colleagues to paraphrase. And you see, by the way, there is really one nice thing about essays. Even if you give no one to paraphrase or read your essays, like personally, no one reviewed my application. But the thing is, every day you wake up, you're a different person. So if today I wrote this essay, the next day I go and read it, I make some improvement because you wake up fresh. So meaning every day you keep on rephrasing what you wrote the previous day. But in case you are out of time, the best way is to send to friends who have been in the process, and they can always guide you. So when asking for help from someone, please, this is the best way to approach them. Like Yasmin has said, be nice. Okay, that's really great. Ask them politely. I mean, you can go and seek for current scholars on LinkedIn and inbox them and all that stuff. But come to them with something which you are presenting. You're like, Crispus, I'm applying for this scholarship. Can you please help me review my CV? Because if you say, Crispus, help me write for me a modern CV from scratch, I'll be like, wow, writing from afresh. Then if you ask me, how do I write a good essay? Like, how do I help? Be like, Crispus, this is an essay I've written. Help me check it out and see if it's okay to submit. So make their work easier by presenting something which they can build on. Yeah, but otherwise, just before I conclude this particular question, have someone, just in case you are doubting yourself, have someone who is currently in the program or who is currently a scholar to always guide you in the process, just in case you are doubting yourself. But otherwise, you are equally great and you can make it. Thank you.
Can I add something, if that's okay?
Go ahead, Yasmin.
Yeah, so guys, I forgot to say about recommendations. So if essays are important, recommendations are also important. So what I did about my recommendations, because these professors at school are so busy, so what you do, draft them yourself. I don't know if your professors will be okay with this, but mine personally were okay. So you draft the essay yourself and what you think you should include. The recommendation yourself, what you think you need, like the recommendation to include, draft it, then take it to them. They will edit it. And okay, yeah, you should of course take to professors that have known you for a while. So you take it to them and then they'll edit and review and then sign and put the letterhead. Do not just go to, unless you're sure this professor knows you and is going to draft for you a nice one, then you can do that. But if you're not sure, please draft it yourself, send it to them. They'll review and edit what they think is not right, and then they will put the letterhead and sign it for you. That's what personally I did. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I also have something to add as regards that recommendation because it's very key. Thank you, Yasmin. Basically, most times I don't advise that you use 2 academic references. Mastercard asked for 2. So the best thing, from my perspective, I believe that since Mastercard requires someone that is a transformative leader, that has community engagement, so therefore you might have experience working with maybe a volunteering organization or a community development service per se. So the best thing is to drop an academic reference and a reference from that your community development program. This is just to further make you credible in terms of your claims that you are actively involved in community services. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, guys, for the additions, and thank you so much, Crispus, for the amazing story. All right, I think this question would be for the 4 of you. Do you also mind? I think starting with Brian again. Do you mind sharing any challenge you encountered during the application process?
Okay, thank you, Samuel. Just before I answer that question of the challenge, one thing I would want to say is about the essays. When you are drafting your essays, I would say use the STAR approach. The STAR approach is the situation, the task, the action, and the results. It's very important to structure your essays in that format because, if there is an issue, let's say you were part of you organized a school feeding program, and maybe you wrote a proposal to bring in donors to, let's say, support children who are vulnerable or from an institution's, maybe children's home. You're supposed to show that probably this school was struggling or this children's home was struggling, and that was the situation. What action did you take? The action that I took is that I probably wrote a proposal to seek out for funds, or I organized an online social media marketing campaign to attract for funding or donors. That is the action, or that is the task, sorry. And then you also have the task as part of the situation, the task, the action, and then the results. Now, in the result, you should be able to show out of these things that you did, the action, out of the actions that you took, what are the results that you got? Probably you are able to raise 10,000 USD, you raised 5,000 USD, and this money went to probably support maybe 250 children in a school for a period of 6 months. So structure your essays in that format. Have a situation, the task, the action, and the results at the end. The other thing I would stress on is when you are writing your essays, I would say you need to show and not to state. By that, I mean, let's say 2 people are writing an essay, and one says that they helped to raise finances for a children's home, or they helped to, coordinate forestry or reforestation activities to plant trees. Now, the same person applying for this scholarship, or a different person applying for this scholarship, will come up and say that they coordinated the planting of trees, in a certain location or in a certain area. And as a result of their efforts, they planted 30,000 trees or 50,000 trees. One has actually stated, the other one has showed. So I would say, as part of your essays, do not state, rather you need to show and kind of try to quantify the impact of your activities or of your initiatives. So that way you'll be able to show that you're a person who is result-oriented or a person who is driven by results. So going back to the question that Samuel asked, what was the major challenge that I experienced with the Mastercard Foundation during the application process. I guess from my end, I would say the major challenge that I experienced was the funding bit of it. You know, as you might be aware, Mastercard pays for all the costs that are associated with the application process, the visa, the flights, and everything. So there was a bit of a delay in terms of funding or remitting the finances, the money, to my home country for me to be able to process some of those documents and to get the processes moving. So what I would advise anybody applying for this scholarship from my point of view is that if you are able to get some money in advance so that you don't delay the process of getting some of those documents like the medical assessment, have some money in advance, do the medical assessments, get your passport and any other documents that you need insofar as applying for this scholarship is concerned. And then once they refund or once they reimburse you, you can actually, maybe if you borrowed from a family friend or whatever, you can actually refund them. So do not wait until the Mastercard Foundation sends the money to your home bank account, because it is going to delay you a lot. And I know of cases because of that, people have, missed out opportunities. So you don't want to miss out this opportunity because it's an opportunity of a lifetime. So just have some finances, borrow from friends, and then once the foundation refunds you, you can then be able to refund. Then another thing I would also say is do not put all your eggs in the same basket. As you know, Mastercard Foundation has different partner institutions. So as you apply for this one at the University of British Columbia, you can check out in other institutions that are partner institutions with the Mastercard Foundation. For my case, I applied to 2 institutions. I applied to McGill University, and I also applied to UBC. So I missed the slot at McGill, but I got the slot at UBC. So you can check on the website. The partner institutions call for applications almost around the same time, and make sure that you also apply to those other partner institutions. And as you do so, I would say be wary not just to submit so many scholarship applications to so many institutions, and then you end up compromising on the quality. It should never be an issue about quantity. It should be an issue about quality. You can decide to maybe submit 2 or 3 scholarship applications to maybe 2 partner institutions or 3 partner institutions, as opposed to submitting so many scholarship applications to Mastercard Foundation partner institutions, and then you end up submitting applications that are not of good quality or of high standard. Then the other thing I would say is also make sure that you prepare well. There is a saying where I come from that says you cannot fatten a cow on the market day. By so doing, by saying so, I mean that you need to prepare well. There will be an interview, and you need to practice speaking in front of the camera. And I would say that is also another challenge that I experienced as part of the application process of this scholarship. Most of us come from countries where internet connectivity is not very stable. At the time when I received my link to do the video interview, I was in a very remote place in Kenya. And it's done online. You don't want to mess up with the whole video interview, because that is what they use to gauge your ability, or to gauge you if you are a good fit for the scholarship or not. So make sure that you have a PC. You can do the interview on your personal mobile phone, or you can also do it on your PC. But I would just say make sure that you have the right resources, have a strong source of internet connectivity. If the region in which you are experiences a lot of power outages, make sure that you have a backup plan. Either you have a power bank or you've charged your phone the previous day, and also be in a place that has got good network and good lighting. You need to also, be at your very best. Dress have official dressing, so that you give a good impression about yourself, because you only have one chance to make a good impression to the selection committee. So pretty those two are the challenges. The finances bit, I didn't have the money at that time. But as I said, you can always navigate this by making sure that you borrow money from somewhere. It could be from an institution, family, and friends. And then second, make sure that you're in a place with good network reception. Have all the resources that you need to prepare for the video interview, because all interviews for this Mastercard Foundation scholarship program are done virtually.
Thank you, Brian. Yasmin, did you want to share any challenge you had during your application process also?
Yes, I would like to share. So I will share the before and after. So the before, the challenge I had first was drafting the first essay, because you have to write it out of experience, you have to write it yourself. So that was so challenging, coming up with what I have to say about me, the things I have done was so challenging. That was the first. The other thing was time. I finished my school last year in July, but I graduated this year in January. So I got work before, so I didn't have time to do the application. I would leave work like at 11 p.m., 10 p.m. sometimes. So it was really hard to get time for this application, but I would spare some time like from 1 a.m. to like 4 a.m. I try to spare some time to work on the application. So that was my second challenge. Another challenge was money, like Brian said, the money. So for me, I basically didn't look at only the Mastercard application. I also looked at other applications because I was not sure if I would get. But I gave this application, to be sincere, it's not because I've got it, but I gave this application a lot of time because it opened earlier than the rest. So I gave it a lot of time and I drafted the essays very well. Then I submitted it. Then I didn't stay there. Like Brian said, don't put all your hope in one thing. You need to look at other opportunities. So I looked at Europe. I also got admission there in Europe. I think three universities, two in Finland, and I think one in Sweden. So you have to like look at other countries. So Europe, then you look at US, then look at Canada as well. But first, look at all the Mastercard applications in the partner universities, because Mastercard is really full. Everything is catered for. So look at them. If you qualify for, let's say, forestry here, and then there is something related to forestry or something in McGill, apply for it. Apply for something in Toronto. Please apply to those universities all. Do not look at one. It's not like you're going to spend money for application. Then, so that was another challenge I had. Another challenge that I had was getting the professors to give me the recommendations. These guys are so busy. So getting them to give you the recommendations is hard. So that was another challenge I also had. Then another one was for universities, let's say in Europe and some in the US, they need the GRE tests and the IELTS tests. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. You need the English tests for some universities. So that limited my scope because I did not personally do. It's expensive. So like I said, if you want something good, you need to invest. So if you have some money, I know we are coming from maybe people, how should I say, not poor background. I don't know how to state it, but I think you understand. You need to at least try to look for some small money and invest so that you can get something good out of it. So that is the before. Those are the things I looked at. I faced. The after was money. Brian said the money to do the medical. It's a lot of money to do the medical and to do other. The after the scholarship, after getting the scholarship application, it's hard. Like now you have to apply for the visa. So I also had challenges with drafting the study plan because it needs to be good, because some people from our group have been denied visa applications, unfortunately. So they'll be joining us next year when we are done, we have graduated. So please, that is also an issue. So after getting the scholarship, there is also an issue of visa. Then yeah, you'll find the others later. And then something I missed. So those are the challenges I had, the before and after. Something else that I missed about applying to checking the requirements of the school websites. So when you're trying to compare, there will be sections where you're trying to compare between the courses you did and the courses that they want. For example, they will tell you if you did any programming language or something. Please, if you did computer science or software engineering and you did so many programming languages, let's say you did Java, C, you did JavaScript, PHP, please choose the one that you got A plus or A, or choose the one that you passed very well. Do not just put any. So I forgot to say that. So you should do that. They'll ask you if you did statistics, did you do probability, did you do Java, did you do, that's in the school website. Please put the best, the ones that you think relate and you scored the best. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Yasmin. That's so detailed. Favor, do you also want to share any challenge? I know, the diversity will help a lot of people. You are from Nigeria, Chris is from Uganda, Brian from Uganda, Yasmin is from Kenya, I guess.
No, Brian is from Kenya.
I am from
Yasmin, they're from Uganda.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
So, from your experience also as a Nigerian, what are the challenges you faced?
Well, as Brian has said, first, no lights. Second, no network. So basically, it was like an issue getting like light and network because firstly, scholarship application is a full-time job and it takes time. It's a long process. So I want to write my essays. There's no light. I would like to use the internet. Okay, then as regards the issue of ChatGPT, it's not like I can't relate, but I can't entirely relate in the sense that you would need internet to during the process. So and ChatGPT to use its internet. So poor internet. Basically, there was a time that MTN was shutting down real bad, and we needed to like just access the internet. There are sometimes that even the story you want to tell, how it is in your inside mind, you don't know how to like put it out. So those are the cases where I like tried to use AI to kindly help me express something like this to just give an idea to be able to tell my story. So basically internet, power supply were major problems that I faced. Then also the finance aspect. Like for me, my first disbursement didn't come through. So I had to like look for other means to get money to carry out like my visa application process and the like to put things in order. So also applying to more than one school, not everybody does it, but I also applied to the University of Edinburgh for food security. But there's one key thing that I missed. I believe I would have gotten it too. I was supposed to use an institutional email for my reference, but I used the normal Gmail. So please follow instructions to the latter. That is one thing that is very key in every scholarship application. Once they say they want it like this, then do it like that, because it is the instructions that you follow that would actually give you an headway. So apply to more than one schools, spread your eggs, in fact, go to Europe, the US, check as many schools as possible that you meet the requirements. Please ensure you meet the requirements so that it wouldn't be like you're wasting your time. So basically those were the challenges that I faced. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fiba. While Christmas will be sharing his own challenges, if you have any question after this session, we are moving straight to the Q&A section. So please drop your question in the Q&A box. If you are using a phone, it's right at the top of your screen. Joining with your laptop is by your right-hand side below the screen. So please drop your questions so that we can take them in. So Chris, did you face any challenge, or because you're a king of Africa, there was no challenge?
Let me do it so quick to give time for questions, which might matter a lot. So of course, I faced also a challenge basically during my video submission. Honestly speaking, I had prepared so well for the video submission. The ring light, arranged my room, put my chair in a good position. I tried to, do rehearsals of how I'm going to talk. But I left and went to the field, a forestry field. And it was a time when they sent the video interview submission. So I was somewhere in the field, and even the deadline which they gave would still find me in the field. I was like, what the hell is this? I left my ring light, left my good room, left my good suits. Now I'm in the field, field attires. I'm in the forest. This really, it was a kind of mental, my mind was a bit disoriented. I didn't reason so well. Like I felt so bad. Going to hang your phone like on a tree to record yourself in a field attire was so bad for me, honestly speaking. Like I did the interview with poor network, and when I finished, because they give you trials, okay, like 3 trials, but all the trials I made were not what I wanted, because I was seeing myself in a suit, in necktie, and having the best kind of, But now what I did, I had to embrace my challenge. So even in the video I was making, please people, at times don't be so formal. At least be casual. The first thing was to send an apology that this video submission found me in the field, somewhere so remote, and even the deadline would still find me in the field. So I'm a forester. So I was like, please understand me if I have poor network. That was the opening statement of my video. So I made the video and all that stuff, but I felt bad. Like I think I've missed it in the last step. From there, I just went and slept. I was feeling so bad, like, what the hell is this? So now what I did, I went and sent an email trying to explain my situation. People, in case you feel like you haven't done your best, you have a room to communicate. Don't sit back, because they will assume it's your best, okay? So I went somewhere, because they saw with an email to write in case you have any issues. I was like, this got me in this kind of field. I was doing this forest operation, yet I had prepared, and I feel like what I've submitted is not my best I could do. But because the deadline was too near, I couldn't postpone the interview. So please understand me, or in case you can do, please give me another chance. Then, of course, there was a response, and they were like, your issues have been taken into consideration. In case we have difficulties hearing what is submitted, we shall let you know. So please don't sit back. Always communicate in case you haven't done your best. That's what I'll give to you. And let me open up maybe just for other questions from the audience. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I think thank you guys for the amazing responses. And honestly, personally, I have a full note already. Thank you so much for your diverse knowledge, your diverse experience. So I think we have some questions, and the first question.
Samuel, can I just say something?
All right, go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, just before we move to the questions, one of the other things I would want to tell any prospective applicant is don't make your scholarship application about the miseries that you've experienced in your life. Don't make it like it's a pity party. You want someone to give you a scholarship because you had a lot of problems. Maybe your parents experienced these problems growing up. That is a good thing, but nobody is going to give you a scholarship on the basis of that alone. You need to strike a balance between telling your own story from your own lens, how you've grown up, the challenges that you have encountered, but at the same time, show how you have overcome these challenges and come out of the other side, to be a successful person. So in so doing, you can mention those challenges that you've gone through, but at the same time, back it up with how you manage to navigate that difficult phase of your life, and also back it up with a strong, show a strong commitment to community service, social impact, how you've given back to your society, or how those challenges have actually molded you into the current person that you are, who would want to give back to the society.
All right, thank you so much, Brian, for sharing that. I think that really makes a lot of sense. I remembered, I think, was it last year that I came across, sorry, can you hear me? Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, Samuel, we can hear you.
Okay, my screen froze, so I'm not seeing anyone. So basically, last year I saw someone's SOP, and the person was trying to describe his financial background and said he grew up in a community where there's no light, and he had to read with lightning. And once there's lightning, he has covered like 3 pages to go through school. So please, while trying to tell your story, don't tell lies like Yasmin stated. Ensure you are being true with your story. So thank you so much. So I think the first question I would like anyone to take from Faith, she said, I would like to ask about the background parts of the application. How important is the information we put there to the application decisions? Should we downplay or play up our background? Um, who wants to go? All right, Favor, go ahead.
Okay, basically, I'll tell you that everything that you put into the application, be it your Mastercard application, your UBC application, and even the one that you give during your interview, it plays there. Like everything is key, because at a point I learned that even if you qualify for the school application, and like you put in a very good application and your program eventually nominates you to be a Mastercard Scholar, and you don't kill like the interview phase, then people get rejected at that stage too. So basically, everything that you are putting. Okay, there's something I also forgot to add that was in my mind. One issue I had was the word limit, 200 to 300 words. So I think that what should be on your mind is, how can I put the most relevant things into 200 to 300 words for each section? So basically, everything that you put into your application is a key factor to your getting that scholarship. So only put things that are very relevant to the questions asked. Don't go out of context. And that is why you need to ask for help, for people to help you review your essay to ensure that you are in line with what is presently required by the scholarship board. And also during your program application, your SOP, it should be key too, because that is the only best way that you can express why you truly want the scholarship, why you want to be enrolled in the program, what you are doing. And also, please, Mastercard is always key on transformative leadership. Even if you're not coming back home, like if you want to stay a bit to experience the Western world, you should ensure that you are giving back to your community. I think that is the basic essence, the basic essence. You should be giving back to Africa. We are not leaving Africa behind because we are leaving Africa. We are leaving Africa to give back to Africa. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Favor, for that insightful response. Brian, do you want to add anything concerning the questions about downplaying or playing up your background?
Yes, Samuel. I would say, just like Favor has said, everything before a decision is made on whether to award you the scholarship or not, everything is taken into consideration. So you want to be very careful with the information that you're putting under the background section of that application. Because if you say probably your first degree was, let's say, in the Netherlands, they would want to find out, if your first degree was in the Netherlands, how did you fund the degree? So if you paid out of pocket, then probably you can afford to pay for the Mastercard fund. You can afford to pay for your degree at the University of British Columbia as well. So I would say they consider each application on a case-by-case basis. but just be careful with the information that you're putting in that section. And I've met scholars who studied their first degrees, maybe in Canada or in the US, and they still got the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship at UBC. So how did they do it? They justified while they might have studied, let's say, in the US or in Canada or in some of those developed countries, it was probably through a scholarship, it was probably through a grant and things like that, which still demonstrates that you are a needy student, because Mastercard Foundation scholarships are there to support individuals from underprivileged backgrounds. So you don't want to put information under the background section, information that will kind of create an impression that you come from a privileged background. They will ask you about the income in your family. Probably it's something you don't want to put exaggerated values that would create the impression that you can actually finance yourself or fund yourself at the University of British Columbia. So you need to strike a balance between giving the correct information and not giving information that will create an impression that you are able to self-finance, because I'm sure not so many people can be able to afford the cost of studying in Canada. So be very honest about the information that you're giving, but at the same time, you need to be very considerate, because any information that you give on the application form is actually going to be taken into consideration before a final decision is reached.
All right, thank you very much, Brian. I think for some questions that are here regarding the application essay questions, I think you can check through the application link. You can just go online and search for Mastercard UBC. You can find the application questions there. Yeah, so this question will be directed to Yasmin. Yeah, concerning recommendations letter, this person is asking, do they ask your professors to send directly to the recommendation letters directly, or you send it to them? What do you advise the recent graduates to do to give to have a competitive advantage?
Okay, about recommendation letters, our procedure was, because I think currently you have like a portal where you apply to. So I think you upload, I saw someone sent me a screenshot on LinkedIn that it's asking them to upload. I'm not sure about that because I've not yet clicked the application link. So probably you need to upload. I'll try to find that out. But what I did was I attached my recommendation letters in one PDF and under the Mastercard application form. So I attached it also down. They gave me a scanned copy. My professor sent me a scanned copies that I attached, but also I had in the school website, I had to put details of the professors, their emails and everything. Then it sent them a link to to upload my recommendation. So they uploaded. So professors have to upload, then you also have to attach. So in the Mastercard application, you attach it yourself. For the UBC, the professors have to send.
All right. Also, what do you advise the recent graduates to do to have a competitive advantage?
To have a competitive advantage, you just need to be unique. Make sure you stand out. Like again, I said, be you. Try to make sure you use the STAR method. Sorry, like the way Brian said. Like structure everything well, from the essays to recommendation letters to your grades. If you have nice grades, talk about it. Like I also got a first class degree, so talk about it. Like make sure it's a big thing, not everyone gets first class, so talk about it. Any achievement you had, let's say you maybe participated in, for example, if you're doing that, you're coming for data science, maybe participated in a coding competition, or you participated in a fintech hackathon, those things, and you won some money. Talk about it, like make it a big deal. Write even the amount of money you got in dollars. Then also, when you look at the application process. Brian said, do not make yourself very poor. Yes, they know already we are poor because we are from Africa, but don't make yourself very poor. So what you should do, for example, me, I was working, so there was some money I was getting, and you know, when you convert it to Canadian dollars, it's very little. So talk about it, like write the money you have and compare it to the tuition. That's now when you're writing your essays, compared to the tuition that you have to pay here. For example, my course is like 54K, $54,000 Canadian dollars. So that's like a lot of money. So be like, yes, I have something on my own. I have these great achievements I've had, but I cannot manage to afford the tuition that this university is making us pay. So I think what I would say, be you, be unique, try to talk about your achievements as much as you can, but also talk about your challenges that you've had and how you persevered, how you became very consistent into passing through it. And yeah, you came out a great person. So talk about all that, and I think this will help you pass.
All right, thank you so much, Yasmin. I think this question I will direct it to Chris first. 1 minute. Okay.
Which
So
question, please? Which one?
someone is asking a question regarding in the application form. What do they mean by the grade, form, or year and year? Then also I have a specific questions I want to ask you. Yeah, Crispus, here is the question. Once you answer that, then you can go ahead and accept. Which is that this year the essay format, the criteria for the personal statement essay format is not acceptable, and each essay is less than 200 words for this year. So how do you think I can go about it? Like this year, I think people have been complaining about the fact that there's limitation of words this year, because I think you can only write 2,000 characters, which includes, comma, full stop, which makes the word limit to be less than 200. How do you think people can go about this, any advice, Christos?
Yeah, honestly, I also got the feedback from many applicants. It's like at this time they have made them to have very few characters to express themselves. So I think what they mean by what don't write as a format, it's just like trying to be like you have to express yourself in the most simple form. Don't overwrite. Maybe that's why you're given a very short word limit to submit your things, because most times essays are very big kind of paragraphs and so many things. So they're saying make your story as precise as possible. What to do is that you can always write, of course, your essay somewhere, then try to knock out some of the things which could be repeated, and make it be enough to fit that box which they've given you. Because these guys have like so many applicants to evaluate, like thousands of applicants, and having your story as precise as possible makes their work easy. So please try to find all possible ways of condensing your story to fit in the word limit. And of course, the system won't allow you to proceed if you're above the words anyway. So yeah, someone is saying, in other words, yes, please.
All right. So the question, okay, I think you've answered the question. Thank you so much, Christos. Please, if you have more questions, please put them in the Q&A section so that I won't miss them. I will take few from the chat box. I think, Brian, I would like you to answer this question. This person says, as an undergraduate, what should one look out for before graduating? What should an undergraduate engage in to make it easier after he or she graduates?
Oh, okay. What I would say is you need to engage in during your undergraduate studies is you have a little bit more time as an undergraduate student. So if you're looking forward to applying for these scholarships, one thing I would say is consider yourself volunteering in organizations that champion social impact initiatives. You can be a volunteer with the Red Cross, a volunteer with maybe a children's home, a volunteer with a home that deals with the elderly or things like that. Because I believe from my experience with scholarships and having talked to so many people who have gone to win the scholarships, most of them were engaged in a lot of community service and volunteer activities. And it adds a lot of weight on your application and puts you at a competitive advantage. So use your undergraduate years to engage in some of those volunteer activities and community activities. The other thing I would say is, as an undergraduate student, also try as much as you can to take advantage of leadership positions. You could run for an elective position in your school, maybe a class representative and things like that. And it just goes on to, maybe just to answer one of the questions that I saw in the chat below. Someone talked about leadership activities. Ideally, when you talk about leadership roles, what many people think is you have to have been the president of this organization. You have to have been maybe like Chris, the president or the secretary general of IPSA, or like Samuel, you have held a specific position. It doesn't necessarily mean that. For me, from my experience with the scholarships, leadership is the ability for you to persuade people or to influence people towards a certain direction. You might not have been the president of an institution or a class representative, but probably in your community, there is a challenge that was arising. Probably there is an issue with deforestation, or there is an issue with people, contributing to climate change. You saw that issue, and then you worked with the community probably to plant trees. You are a leader. You don't have to have held a position. What are the actions that you took that helped to mitigate certain conditions or certain issues? So that is one way you can actually present leadership in your essays. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you so much, Brian. Yasmin also have a question here about recommendation letter here. Someone is asking, who are we addressing the letter to? Is it Mastercard Foundation address, or who is the recipient of the recommendation letter?
Oh, okay, yeah, it's to the Mastercard committee, University of British Columbia, Canada. Yeah.
All right. Also, someone asked about the ideal to use a generic recommendation letter. It has to be specific.
Is it what? Pardon?
Is it okay to use a generic reference letter, or it has to be specific?
It has to be specific. It has to be unique to you. Recommendation letter, right?
Yes.
Unique to you. And then, yeah, about you don't have to make it generic. And it has to be the University of British Columbia. Be specific, please.
All right, thank you. I think I would like Brian also to shed more light. That could be the last question from the Q&A session. Someone said you mentioned something about stating and showcasing the ideas in the essay. Can you go in more details about what the two statements means?
Okay, I will use a very abstract example here, Samuel. Let's say you are working in a marketing department, and you said maybe during the COVID time, I helped to increase the sales of an organization. That is stating. But if you want to show, you would say like during the COVID-19 pandemic, there was a drop in the sales. That is the situation. My manager asked me to find ways how we could bring the sales up to the pre-COVID-19 times. That is the task. Now, the action is probably we engaged the social media team to activate a social media marketing campaign to try and create a buzz around the products that we were selling. That is the action. Now, the results, as a result of this action, we increased the sales of our organization by 75%. So I think you're getting the difference. The first element of stating is that I just stated I helped to increase the sales of our company during the COVID-19 time, after maybe there was a drop because maybe customers were not buying. That is stating. But if I need to show, I need to show that sales were not in good numbers during the COVID-19 pandemic. And the task was that I needed to, probably my manager asked me to, try and find activities or campaigns to bring up the sales up to the maybe pre-COVID-19 pandemic figures. And the action, we came up with a marketing campaign, a social media marketing campaign to try and, create a buzz or awareness or to ramp up the sales numbers. And the results is that we grew the sales revenue by maybe double digit or by 23%. So you are showing how all those activities happened until you got the end results, and not just stating that this is what you did, but show the results as well.
All right, thank you so much, Brian. That's so really explanatory. So while we round up, I think each of you should say, I say one word or one statement that describe, your application success. I don't know if that's clear enough. Something that, can wrap up your application success, something that stood out for you in the application process. Starting with Favor.
Pardon, can I cut you, please? There was
Go
a
ahead.
question, if they answered it, about if you can apply to 2 courses.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
So what I can answer is you can apply to 2 courses, even in the same university. If you qualify for both, please apply to as many courses as you want. Mastercard will cater for the application fee.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I got 2 new questions late, and that will be the last questions we will take because we should wrap up in 5 minutes. This person is saying about the academic courses. Can we include the online courses that were taken that related to the application, but not in my transcript? Who wants to answer that, Favor?
Okay, basically you can highlight that in your CV rather than in the academic aspect, because your transcript is what they are seeing and they do not want to see any extras. Your application does not give an opportunity to attach extras, so that we might probably say you attach certificates of completion from such programs. But whatever is in your transcript that you have an A+ or a very good grade that is in line with the course you're applying to, then you can fix it in. Then for your CV, you can just highlight those programs in the part of certifications. So to just give a credibility that, okay, aside your academic work, you have certifications that you have taken in line with something that is in your interest.
All right, thank you very much, Favor. And lastly, this person is saying how many interviews are in the process, and also what are the questions asked. I think the second part are maybe Christmas. Okay, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Okay, for the questions asked, you do not expect that Mastercard will ask you the same questions, so don't bother about it. Just know that there are questions that will be around your story, something that relates to you and what you put in your previous application. Then also, except you're in the food science, you only have 1 interview. I think the food science has an extra interview for their own personal applicants into the program before you can do the Mastercard interview. So basically, that's just it.
All right.
Yes, Masters of Data Science has 2 interviews as well. One with the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship and one with the UBC, University of British Columbia.
Oh, okay. Christmas, is it the same for international forestry?
I don't recall so well, but I think I did only for the Mastercard Foundation. Brian, am I right? Yes,
You're
yes,
right.
yes. So there's 1 interview. Yeah, you just send essays also to the program, submit your letter of intent, and they go through. But there's no interview for the program. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, guys. So back again, one word that describes your application process or the success of your application, starting with Favor.
Reality. basically, I'll say reality because I was just real all through the process. I didn't put myself in a situation whereby I'll have to start looking for ways to package and package. So it's just my real self being packaged rather than looking for an extra packaging. So reality.
Thank you. Yasmin?
Mine, I think, would be uniqueness because I was very unique. My story, if you're to read it, it's so interesting. So I think mine was very unique because of where I come from and the situation there, the cultural beliefs there. So yeah, my story was very unique.
Chris? Yeah,
Mm,
muted.
what- yeah. So honestly, what I did was just to do my best in a way that if I miss the scholarship, I knew that there was nothing else I could do to get it. So I won't blame myself. So I did all I could do, improve my CV and send the best essays. And to me, I was really contented with what I submitted. And I was like, if I don't make it, then there was nothing more I could do. So please do this also to avoid blaming yourself. And of course, if you don't make it, you can always keep on trying. Please don't give up. You are still young people, maybe, I assume. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
One thing I would say is own your own story, own your own story. If you wake up at 2 a.m. in the morning and someone asks you what you put in your application, you can be able to tell them without making reference to your application. And then the other thing I would say, especially from someone who did not have a background in environment and is now doing forestry like me, is believe in yourself. Do not second guess yourself. Do not have any self-doubt. And I always ask myself, what is the worst that can happen? Is if I apply and probably they feel I do not meet the criteria, the worst that can happen is that I'll just be told that probably I do not meet the criteria and I'll try again next time. So be confident in yourself. Do not second guess yourself. And at the same time, put yourself outside there. Put yourself in the in the competition, and when you don't put in the application, you've already lost. But when you put in the application, there's a 50-50 chance you could either get a scholarship or you could not get a scholarship. So that is what I would advise anybody or any prospective applicant for this scholarship.
All right, thank you so much, Brian, and I'm very grateful for you guys, sparing time from your busy schedule. I know how graduate school can be busy, especially for new students like us. And thank you so much for making time to be here to share your story with our audience. And thank you so much for being real. Lastly, I would say everyone on the call, please go on LinkedIn, follow everyone. Follow Fibo Idiaboya, Brian Lisaka, Yasmi Hazan, Chris Post, Ogum, and myself. In case you have more questions, you can chat us up on LinkedIn personally. And lastly, also, I'm currently hosting a graduate school mentorship on graduate school application process. In case you are interested, you can chat me up on LinkedIn, Samuel Fajano, or on Instagram at Global Sam, PSALM. For more details, I think I'll be posting the details on LinkedIn soon. So please kindly follow us and let's keep in touch. And thank you also for your time. Before we wrap up with a quick shot, I think Chris Boss wanted to say something. Please go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I think there were some questions which were not answered just in case. Someone was asking what do they mean by grade, form, or year in the form when they're applying. Maybe in case any of you have an idea, because maybe this year there was a bit of adjustments in the application form. Yeah. What is meant by form, grade, stroke, year? Favor, could you be having any idea about this?
Favor, are you there?
I think she left us. Maybe Yasmin, please unmute. Yasmin, do you have idea about this? Then
About what? Pardon me, please.
So someone asked me, what do they mean by grade, form, grade, stroke, form, stroke, year in the application form?
Grade, stroke, form, stroke, year. So what I did is you put your, like, what was your grade? You got, let's say, A+. In which course unit, let's say you did programming in Java. You put the course code there. So your result, the course code, then I think that is it. The year, the course code, then yeah, that is it. Then which year you did it. Yeah. The year, the course code, and the grade. That's what I put.
Yeah, then last one, Samuel, I'm sorry for this. Then they're saying that in the application, they were saying that they need between 200 to 300 words, but in real sense, they are characters, not words. So please, in case you find any issues with the application form, there is option for sending feedback to Mastercard. There was also an issue with the link for the application. It was hard to navigate the next step to proceed. So I sent feedback, and right now you'll find that it's now easier. You don't have to look for the plus button. It's everything. So you can always be like, you have mentioned that these are words, but again, instead the characters, and send to them. Just please feel free. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Chris, for that. So while we wrap up, I think everyone can come on camera while we take a screenshot, take a snapshot before we go. We have 4 minutes. All right. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Yasmin. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Favor. Thank you, Chris, for I will connect with you guys, and then we can collaborate for more future programs, and to help more young Africans to benefit from all of these opportunities. So if you can come on camera, please, let's go. And then we can take snapshot. Chris, you can take from your hand also. I will try as much as possible. So at the count of 3, I think I have to take multiple times, because I think I have like people in 3 different screens. So 1, 2, 3, go. All right, so the next screen, I don't know, people here you can turn on your camera. Okay. All right, thank you, everyone. See you again. Feel free to connect with us, and we hope to continue this conversation later in the future. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to them, introduce yourself, and hopefully they will have time to reply. So thank you. See you next time. Bye. Sorry, if you want the recording, I forgot to mention that it will be on my YouTube channel at Sam Access, PSALM, Sam, Book of Psalms from the Scripture, then Access, ACCESS. So thank you so much.